Hi everybody, I'm back. I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is Sam IT. Today, it's Big Design Upfront, or BDUF. What does it mean? When we're designing systems, there's a temptation and a lot of pressure from a lot of outside organizations that don't work either in software engineering or IT that we should gather all of the possible requirements and design everything that will ever be needed long ahead of time so that when we build it, we can predict exactly how long it'll take, how much it'll cost, when it'll be done, and everything that has to go into it. And this is idiotic. So, why? Well, the idea comes from civil engineering. If you're going to build a bridge or a highway system, you can't get it wrong. Bridges are a great example. You cannot start building a bridge and adjust as you go. There's simply too many moving parts, and absolutely nothing can fail or be adjusted later. Everything is maybe literally set in stone. That is a civil engineering challenge that they simply have to overcome. But a lot of people view the world of all technical things through the lens of civil engineering because that's kind of where a lot of these principles were first learned. This permeates society. People begin to think in this way. Also, a lot of people, when they interact with IT or software engineering, they don't want to do so in a professional team-like way. They want to get third parties who do only what's needed, throw things over the wall, and have what they want done and handed back to them. This requires big design up front because it's the only way that you can get the information you need to them to get the results that you want back. So you're forced into this scenario. Big design up front has been identified over the last 50 years as being the leading, not just a leading, but the leading contributor to why engineering products fail, especially in the technology space. Primarily this is because big design up front doesn't work. One of the most important pieces to this is that customers, which could include internal people or outside customers, whatever, it's the people who are requesting a project, don't know what their requirements are. If they knew all of their requirements and could exactly specify what they needed, they would have already designed the product from beginning to end all on their own, and they wouldn't need IT or software engineering to step in and do those pieces for them. So big design up front fundamentally doesn't make sense, but people still want to do it anyway. And for a long time, IT and SE departments would give in to this and in many cases even thought it was a good idea and so would accept or promote that they needed all of this design done early, wait until it was all done, and then begin working on the project. And then of course all the things that come in like opportunities and problems don't work because the design is already done. What do? Do you work around it? Do you go back to the starting point and try to redesign everything and go ahead again, or what? Big design up front is dangerous, and it doesn't reflect the real world, which is both that customers, like we said, don't know what they want when they start, and that factors change as we go. When we're building a bridge, you can't change as you go. If a new cable technology comes out that allows for more powerful cables that will hold up a better bridge and you'll need to use less material, too bad. You don't get to use it. You have to use the materials that you designed from the beginning. It's just how it is. And that's going to make bridges cost more than they might need to because they can't take advantage of things that change as they're being built. But in reality, new technology around cabling doesn't normally come out while a bridge is being built. New materials for building bridges typically come out every couple hundred years, not every couple weeks. So making changes as you go doesn't normally come into play too often. And if something was on the horizon, you would have known it long before you started building your bridge, even if it was years ahead. And if you could just work around it. In IT, major changes that affect everything we do come out every few weeks or months, and we need to be able to adjust all the time. If we were to design significantly up front, we'd be working from old plans and old techniques and old technology before we were done with our project, and that would be foolish because it often costs us less to adjust as we go than it did to keep to the old things. And it means we're not taking advantage of different things. We're not like civil engineering. We're not building throw-it-over-the-wall components that are never designed to change. IT infrastructure is a living thing. Once a project is completed in IT, that project has to keep functioning. Whether it's software or hardware, it has to be maintained and modified and updated at all times. This is nothing like a bridge. Sure, bridges get repaired, but they don't get modified over time. Maybe over a few hundred years they may do something to prop up a bridge that is structurally unsound or to modify it in some really minor way, but the basics have to stay the same. But an IT project could change dramatically even over a period of just 2 years. By avoiding big design up front, we have an opportunity to gather only the requirements that we absolutely need to start a project, and we're able to give rapid feedback back to the people who are wanting the project done. This allows them to get a better sense of what's happening and a better sense of what they could do. For example, if a project moves much more slowly than they were anticipating, they can adjust for that. If it's moving a lot more quickly, they may look to new opportunities. It may give them a chance, once they're using a system that's partway done, to start exploring how they want to use it and realize they want to use it in a way that they hadn't predicted. Bridges, again, aren't like this. We know that we want to walk or drive or take a train over a bridge. We aren't likely to be building a bridge and suddenly realize that what we really wanted was a staircase later. People understand when they want a staircase or a bridge. They don't get confused and start building the wrong one, and halfway through go, oh wait, this isn't a river, we didn't need a bridge, it's just getting to the second floor of the building. But in IT, people do that all the time. They start building something that has nothing to do or very little to do with what they actually wanted to accomplish, partially because in many cases they may not even be able to articulate what it is they actually wanted. And by starting a project, we're able to get at lowest cost and as quickly as possible as many answers as we can, and allow the IT team or the SE team to be as productive as possible, starting immediately. If we do big design up front, we are holding off the project until the design is completed. And in many cases, the design is 50% of the effort or more. That's a big problem. That if we want to do a large project, say one that takes a year, and we spend half a year doing the design, and then we begin, and then we start finding out all the things we didn't know and that we got wrong with the design, we've already wasted half a year that we could have been getting information and getting work done that either taught us a lot or got us farther along the path and gave us the most opportunity to be prepared for changes later. Basically, big design up front assumes that we know everything from the beginning, including everything that we want, and that it'll never change. And what we call agile methods that avoid big design up front give us the maximum opportunity to leverage how the real world works to both mitigate the mistakes and misconceptions that are often injected at the beginning of projects, and to take maximum advantage of things that change or are discovered over time. And so in the real world, agile methods are designed around leveraging how things actually happen, and big design up front is kind of based around an idealized world that doesn't actually exist and never will. So in general, when possible, big design up front is something we want to avoid as much as possible in both IT and SE sectors. And of course, in software engineering space, this is drilled into everyone from day one. Formal education teaches so hard against big design up front, but in IT, we often aren't talking about this kind of things because project management and engineering planning is often left out of IT formal education, and IT formal education itself is often lacking or non-existent. And so it's important that we look to other engineering fields and endeavors and glean what we can from their fields and apply them to IT where they're applicable, and to understand that IT works a lot more like software engineering, which is a little bit more like computer engineering, than it is like civil engineering, which is effectively the polar opposite. Thanks for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe, put your comments in the links below, and remember, as always, you can sponsor us on Patreon. A little bit of sponsorship goes a very long way. Thanks for joining me. Talkadillo is a cloud-hosted or fully managed on-premises IP PBX platform providing businesses with simple and simply affordable voice communications. Visit Talkadillo.com and learn more about how Talkadillo can change how you view your telephones and help to support Sam IT.